Sup nerds, Adam Ronin here for our first review of 2020. Can you believe that? We've been doing R24 for 5 years and we're back now with our first review. Now, back last year in 2019, a few months ago, we did a review of the PowerA Fight Pad. Well, we have a second product from PowerA that they sent us at the same time. We took a little bit of a hiatus, and now we're going to take a look at the PowerA Fusion Pro for the Xbox One. And let's see how this bad boy stacks up as an awesome, maybe, competitor to the Xbox Elite series. Who can say? Much more affordable, though, I can tell you that. Let's take a look at it right now. Now, as I like to do for reviews, the first thing I want to take a look at is just the aesthetics of the product. How does it feel? What does it look like? Is it aesthetically pleasing to look in your controller collection? The cool thing about Xbox One controllers, and sometimes PS4 too, but I think actually Microsoft has a little bit bigger step ahead in terms of their accessory game, just for the sense of the aesthetics. They always have just the coolest line of official Microsoft products for their controllers. You could really collect them. It's like Joy-Cons. You could collect them if you're into that sort of thing, and they'll look really cool on your shelf. So that's always important if you're that type of player. Does this look good enough to sit along with your official Microsoft products? And I think it's passable. Of course, it's PowerA, and I've said this before in other reviews, where gone are the days where like Mad Catz and PowerA third-party stuff would be jank central. You remember like back when you were kids, you would get like that Mad Catz controller that was like the Player 2 controller you gave your little brother, like this translucent behemoth of ugliness. That's not what things are like these days. When PowerA is coming out with some really impressive stuff, like we said, we took a look at that Fight Pad for PS4. My only beef with that was the D-pad. The rest of the controller was super sick. With this, we're at an interesting point here because this is meant to rival, I think, the Xbox Elite series controllers, which are $250, I think, to $180. I can't remember. Very expensive. That's like, you want to get in there, that's their rival to SCUF controllers. Well, PowerA has an answer to that because this is retailing. If you were to get it just normal first party, this is $79.99. So this is retailing at $80. And boy, you do have a nice piece of technology here. Of course, there are many features to it. So it has this removable back paddle that goes on the back here. You can have it, or you can take it off and remove it, where you can map the paddles to your other buttons, just like the Elite series and like SCUF controllers and stuff. It has removable thumbsticks and the colored different rings and stuff like that. Your standard D-pad. Standard controllers, you have the adjustable trigger sensitivity, so you can adjust the sensitivity of the triggers. And this is essentially on the budget Elite controller for Xbox One. However, there is a difference. The cost difference is immense, but the way they get past that is this is a wired only controller, so this has no wireless functionality. You have to plug it in for it to work. You know, by removing that battery pack, they're able to reduce this by almost half. Also, plus when you plug it in, you don't have to sync it. As soon as you plug it in, it's ready to go. And kind of the best part about playing wired, and you know, especially if you're a tournament gamer, or if you're part of our audience and you go to fight game tournaments, you understand wired really reduces the sense of latency. Now, if you have the Xbox Elite series that is wireless, and you were to compare, the minute differences between the latency are probably almost not even noticeable, even in the slightest, but you do have that wherewithal within you to know that there is virtually no latency because you're playing wired. So that's a bonus, and the effective half the cost is a big bonus. So this comes out to 0.7 pounds, which is 11.2 ounces. Nice. See, my beef with PlayStation controllers, the DualShock 4s, is they're super light. They just feel like really flimsy toys to me. I do like the way they feel. The D-pads are incredible, but they feel like flimsy toys. Also, kind of the standard Xbox One controllers are very light. I really like weight in my controllers. It feels like a expensive piece of tech. It feels fancy. It feels like you could really, when you're pressing the buttons, which do feel great, by the way, I don't know, just having a weight in your hand when you press that button and your Marcus Phoenix just punches that grub in the face, you feel like, yeah, that's because I have weight in my hands. And Marcus Phoenix feels that too. Phoenix. So they have what included within this controller what they like to refer to as quality premium pieces. So like with the rubberized pads back here, they have the Alps thumbsticks. So it really just has like an air of quality to it while still retaining its low budget price. there's really not a whole lot to be said about the performance of it, because controllers like this are really all about how does it feel in your hands, because controllers are controllers. They all kind of play the same these days. You're not going to notice tons of latency. It does have the nice triggers. The buttons feel really good in the hands. It feels like a great controller, and I love the way it feels in the hands. So if you've got that scratch, you may want to spring for the official Elite Series controller, because, you know, that's like, to me, that's end-all be-all quality of performance for the Xbox One in terms of controller. Like, it does, what more could you want from a controller that thing does? But for the money, for 80 bucks, this is a steal, and this is a great controller. And Gordy's been playing with this controller over our hiatus for the last couple months, and he's been loving it. We've been playing Fortnite and stuff. The mapping is super simple. It's a really quality controller. You can map your face buttons here, so I think he likes to map grenades and stuff to it, you know, depending on the shooter, the game we're playing, like Fortnite or whatever, map grenades and things like that to that, or your healing, or switching on the buttons and stuff. I've always found, especially on the Elite controllers, I like to play without the paddles. Me personally, I just don't jive with grabbing them. I'm always hitting them accidentally. These are there and they work perfectly. If you do like the function of mapping specific face buttons to the paddles, works great and it's there for it. Me personally, when I use the controller, I like to just use it without them, and I know that kind of defeats the purpose of having one of these pro style controllers if you don't use the paddles. But I just like the way the sticks feel, like the way I can replace the sticks with different sizes. I like the way the triggers feel and how you can adjust the trigger sensitivity. I like the way the buttons feel. The D-pad is super good, especially for fighting games. We all know that Xbox hasn't had the greatest track record for D-pads, and I'm kind of a little bit nervous for the Series X stock controller, because that looks like it's got that disc D-pad. That's just on their stock controllers, which I don't particularly care for. So I do like that you can use any controller on any Xbox. So especially when the new Xbox comes out, I'll pick that up, and I may even still use controllers like this on it, just because I prefer the D-pad on these. So it really comes down to, do you want a more pro experience for not a pro cost? Then this is absolutely worth the money. 80 bucks. It's $20 more than just a regular controller. You do have to plug it in, but then you don't have to sync. You've got reduced latency. You've got cool mappable paddles. It's a good buy. It's a cool buy. I prefer this over the last controller we reviewed over them just because of the D-pad. The customization isn't quite there. Like the other one has that removable faceplate. You can, if you're really creative, you can do stuff with. This doesn't quite have that. I know they do have like a white version of this if you're looking for something a little bit more sleek looking. The only problem is I think that they really need to make a version of this for PlayStation. Pretty sure when we were at EVO 2019 and we were talking to the PowerA guys, they said that they were doing or had a version of PlayStation in the works. As far as at the time of filming this video, everything I've looked at, they only have it for Xbox One, which is cool, but does that really serve your purpose? Because I'm quite sure that a good majority of you are PlayStation gamers. So, but I guess if you click this video, it's because you're in the market for a pro controller for Xbox One, so it doesn't fucking matter to you. Anyway, if you are really interested in this controller, we have a link for it right there in the description. You can just click that link, takes you right to Amazon, and you can purchase it with your Prime subscription, where you get 2 days shipping for free. It's insane. It's bonkers, right, Gordy?
It's bonkers.
Bonkers, bonkers, bonkers. But anyway, guys, short, to the point, sweet, nice and delicious. That's our review of the wired PowerA wireless controller. That's not wireless. For the wired PowerA Fusion Pro for Xbox One. Really good buy, 80 bucks. You can't beat it. Unless you want to save up the scratch a little bit more and get something truly crazy, then you can spring for that the Xbox Elite, because that's where the quality really is and where the money is. Depends on how pro of a gamer you really are, I suppose. Anyway, my name's Adam Ronin. Please consider subscribing for more reviews and other cool shows that we do here based around gaming. Press the subscribe. Make sure you got that bell ticked so you know when things are cracking. And check us out on patreon.com/R24. The reason sometimes we're able to get these controllers is because even just $1 goes a long way to feeding Gordy. Getting him out of his cage, dangling a little sardine in front of his face. Right, Gordy? You like them sardines in front of your face?
No!
Oh, yeah. Anyway, guys, Adam Ronin out. Make sure you click that link in the description to get your own, very own, Fusion PowerA controller.
Cut.